come on, I can't go like this, not today. You can't go into the trash can yet.
Data breach. There's been a data breach in the core drives. We are compromised. I repeat, we are compromised.
No, it's gone. Dang it, another one.
So we're on the 4th story of Doctor Who ever, and this is where things begin to get scary. So, back in the 1960s, all the way up to the late 1980s, like, TV series would, like, show an episode of their show, and then expect for, like, all the Whovians to just be there watching it, and then they don't show it on TV again. And the fact is, in the 1960s, the BBC practically junked, threw out in the trash, erased from existence all of their episodes, all the way up from An Unearthly Child, all the way up to the Second Doctor's final serial, The War Games. They just junked them all because they didn't think that they would need them anymore. They thought that after they showed them once, that would be it. They didn't need them anymore. So they threw them out. They were lost forever until in 1978, Whovians started to go on missions to start searching for those missing episodes. And they found quite a lot. As you can see, if you watched my previous Doctor Who reviews, then you would know that all of the episodes from An Unearthly Child, all of the episodes from the Daleks, all of the episodes from the Edge of Destruction, they've all already been found. Moving on to story number 4, Marco Polo. 7 episodes long, none of them are found yet. So what do? How can we watch these episodes? Well, sit back and relax, folks, because you're about to find out. Most of the classic episodes have been made into books, so you can pick one up and give them a read. This is not an example for one of the missing episodes. It's just a random book about the first 50 years of Doctor Who, but whatever. But I would suggest that you do it the way it's supposed to be watched, by buying a great big pack of CDs. Now, these CDs were basically contain the audio soundtrack of all the episodes. Even though we don't actually have the footage of the missing episodes, we do have the audio footage, so we can listen to them. So the audio CD is the audio recording of the Doctor Who episodes, and for the visual parts, the parts they actually need to see and can't just live off by listening to them, well, they pretty much grab a random actor who had a big part in that episode, and they do bridging narrations. Like, it would be stuff like, Ian stumbles over as a Yeti bites into his neck, and stuff like that, instead of just listening to suspenseful music, and you're just like, what's going on? So, you could do it that way, or you could go the next stage up. I should mention that if you're looking on Amazon or something like that to buy the audio CDs, I almost guarantee you're not going to find any of them for a reasonable price at all. But you can always go into iTunes. iTunes pretty much has all the CDs, and it even has a few CDs that like aren't really actual televised stories. Like the BBC just made like audio recordings which were never really shown on TV. But yeah, you can buy most of those CDs off iTunes. However, it doesn't contain the Web of Fear or something else. I can't remember which one, but anyway, moving on.
Where'd you guys go? Oh, there you are.
So, some telesnaps have been recovered, which are just like still pictures, photographs of instant moments in those missing episodes, as well as very few surviving clips in them too, where you can see like movement for a little while, and then you have to go back for the pictures. Some episodes like Marco Polo, The Massacre at St. Bartholomew's Eve, and Mission to the Unknown we have no footage at all. We have no telesnaps, no surviving clips, but we still have the audio. We have the audio for all of them. And people sometimes like to make reconstructions with telesnaps and the surviving clips. And you can watch it like that. I would recommend Loose Cannon, who reconstructed a bunch of the missing episodes. It's not all. You can ask them for the MP4 reconstructions, which has just all of them on this little disc. And there's also this YouTube channel which features talking telesnaps. I would recommend they check that out, where they move the mouth and try to make it look as realistic as possible. There'll be a link to his YouTube channel down in the description below. The BBC also wants some companies to animate them, like turn them into cartoons. So far, the only episodes that have been released on DVD with cartoons for the missing episodes are The Reign of Terror, The 10th Planet, The Moon Base, The Ice Warriors, and The Invasion. But enough of that talk about trash cans. Moving on to the actual story. So we start off with where the last episode ended. Susan and Barbara are looking at a giant footprint. Though Ian tells them not to worry, as it was probably just a normal footprint with the sun melting the edges to make it look a little bit bigger. That's when the Doctor comes storming out of the TARDIS, furious that they don't have any fuel, they don't have any water or anything, and now they're trapped on the tip of a huge mountain. So then they try to look for shelter. There they meet Marco Polo and his gang, including the Lady Ping-Chu and the Warlord Tigana. After they get to know each other, the Warlord Tigana doesn't want to trust them, as he thinks they're evil spirits. Ooh. So, yeah. Ian shows Tigana and Marco Polo their time machine, though of course he doesn't tell them that it's a time machine. He just tells them that it moves through the air. Tigana tries to prove to Marco Polo, see, they just kind of admitted that they're evil spirits, plus, you can't fit 4 people into that box. It's gotta be some sort of magical way, in an evil way, you know. And it ends on a cliffhanger where it is revealed that Tigana is trying to betray Marco Polo by giving him poison.
I will use it well on all but the first of Marco Polo's water girds. For tomorrow, the caravan sets out to cross the Gobi Desert. Now you will follow us, and on the 3rd night, I will walk back to you. Then we're going to ride back here to Lok, wait for 2 days, and then return to the caravan to collect the thing of magic that will bring the mighty Kubla Khan to his knees.
I should also mention that this is a historical story, which is a story that doesn't contain any alien technology at all, besides the Doctor and the TARDIS, of course. But anyway, so Marco Polo explains to the Doctor, Ian, Susan, and Barbara that his plan is to actually trade the TARDIS for a trip back home by Kubla Khan, who has the ability to bring him home, but he's refusing to. So Marco Polo is saying, a flying caravan? Of course he would trade me going home for that. Then the Doctor is furious, and then the 4 time travelers try to explain, no, you can't. Then Marco Polo is just like, don't worry, once I get the ability to travel back home, I'll have the ability to travel anywhere. I can take you guys back home. But they're just like, no, you can't, it's impossible, you don't understand. And then Marco's just like, you have a flying caravan. Nothing's impossible anymore. So then they can't really do anything. Then Marco Polo decides that the Doctor, Ian, Susan, and Barbara can come onto his journey across to Kublai Khan with the TARDIS. However, none of them will be able to enter it. This is because that Tegana still thinks that they are evil spirits, and the only reason why they are acting helpless is because that they are only helpless when they're outside of the TARDIS, but then as soon as they're inside, they can be very powerful. So, anyway, so while they're crossing the Singing Sands, which are called that because there are lots of sandstorms, and when that happens, it sounds like that the sand is whistling. So, during that, Susan and Pinchu kind of get lost, and then a whole bunch of other stuff happens, which causes Tegana to not be able to poison the water that they have, but instead he has a new plan, and he slices the bags open, allowing the water to pour out, therefore leaving no more water for them, except for the bag that they were currently using at that moment. Days pass, and they get even further and further from places with a lot of water. Soon they're crossing the Gobi Desert, where there's barely any water, if at all. And while they're traveling there, they run out, and Tegana decides that he's gonna take a long walk and see if he could find water, in which Marco agrees. Ian asks Marco, like, if we try to, like, move, like, all day and all night, how long would it take? So Marco says it's going to take, like, 5 or 6 days, even if they did that. So that's the end of that idea. Tegana eventually does retrieve water. However, the only reason that he did that was so that he wouldn't die of thirst himself. He simply takes the big chunk of water and takes a very large sip of it until he's quenched his thirst and he's content and won't need any water for a while. He then rises it into the air and says, even though that he knows no one will hear him, he says, "Here's water, Marco Polo. Come for it," before turning it upside down and letting the rest of the water drain into the thirsty sand.
Here's water, Marco Polo. Come for it.